This video is going to be an in-depth overview of Microsoft Teams. So we're going to cover a lot of information, a lot of different features, but feel free, pause, leave, come back, rewatch, whatever it is that you need to do to get the information that you need. Hopefully you'll be able to do it. So we're going to start by opening the Microsoft Teams app, where it will show us our teams. Now, teams are organizational spaces where you can have groups of people, files, collaborative documents, those kinds of things related to a specific task or location, or in our case, campus. Within each of these teams, there's a number of additional subgroups. So I'm going to click into one of our teams and we're going to explore it. Within this team is our UTCSS Educational Technology team. You'll see that whenever I first open it, it brings me to the general channel. Channels are what we call each of these subgroups within our team. So you'll see that we have a channel for each of our online resources. Within these channels, you can find conversations, helpful documents, notes, and additional helpful tips or videos as it relates to specific resources. At the top of each channel are tabs. These tabs can take you to a number of different places. By default, you have posts and files. Depending on what kind of team, you may have a staff notebook by default. And then you can customize this ribbon by adding tabs that fit the needs of your channel. So for example, if this channel needed to access a particular document frequently, I could add that document as a tab, either as a PDF, a Word, a spreadsheet. I can also do the same for if there's a website that we need to visit fairly frequently. Here's the website option. A great example of that is in our staff teams. You could add a student login tab that takes you to the website where you find your student usernames and passwords. Or you could have a tab for our IT ticket request website, so you don't have to go looking for that URL anywhere. It's in your team. There's lots of options for other things that you can add as tabs. Feel free to explore those, but we're not going to go through each of them in depth. Your posts tab in each of your channels is where you find the stream of information. That can include conversations, announcements, notifications. All of those things can be found in the Posts tab. So on this page alone, you'll see, if you scroll all the way up, there's lots of notifications about things that have been done to this team. Some of it you might be interested, some of it not helpful information. There's also announcements, things to read before you explore the team. And here's a conversation announcement about a Flipgrid that we're using for professional development. Each of these channels will have its own set of conversations and files. When you're in the post section and there's a conversation that you would like to reply to, so for example, if we have ExactPath, you see here that this conversation is all about how you use a resource. If I wanted to reply to this particular conversation, I'm going to click this reply button attached to it. This allows my response to stay connected to the original post. So what I mean by that is you can see how this post up here, Edmentum ExactPath, is in a separate rectangle than this teacher testimonial one. That's how it will show up if I were to start a new conversation. That will make a new block of text. If my conversation is more of a reply to something that's already been started and already has a block, I want to keep it attached so that it stays organized and it stays cohesive. That's why you click this reply button. It will allow your response to be tied directly to the conversation that's started. Now, if you want to start a new conversation, you come to the bottom. There are a few options available to you here. You have this A, which is your formatting. By clicking that, it lets you add a subject line and a text. You can also change it from a conversation to an announcement, and you see that now I have a headline, makes it stand out a bit more. You have a couple of options across next to it depending on your status in the team. I'm the owner of this team, and so I have a few more options. You may or you may not have those options. But whether it's an announcement or a conversation, you have some formatting options up here available to you so that you can customize your message and how it looks. Next to the A, you have the attachment paperclip. This allows me to attach a file of some kind directly to my conversation. There's smiley faces and GIFs. There's stickers, all things that you can put into your message. This video camera is a Meet Now. If I just want to jump into a meeting really quickly with the other members of this channel, this is a great way to do that. This paper airplane is Stream. That's the Microsoft video service. There's a ribbon for praise, and there's additional apps that you can use within your conversations. Once you've done everything you need to do and you're ready to send it, this smaller paper airplane over here is the send icon. You'll be ready to go. So that's the post feature within your channels. Now I want to compare that to chats because they're very similar and they can be very easily confused. So posts within a channel are visible and accessible to everyone who is a member of that channel. So anyone who can get into Edmentum ExactPath can see everything that I put in this post section. That's a really great way to communicate because we want our team's experience to be full of collaboration. If I have a question or an idea or I need some encouragement, posts is a great place to do it, even if at first I think it's not relevant to very many people. It might be eventually, and we can all learn from each other. And so posting here in the conversations or posting section of a channel is where we want almost all of our work-related conversations. We want to be able to see what others are working on, thinking about, asking, so that we can have those same kinds of ideas or chime in or help or encourage. So I'd really, really recommend you use posts as much as possible. If it's something that maybe you really need one person or two people to see and respond to immediately, you can tag them in a post by doing the @ sign, and then they're not in that team, so it doesn't show up, but I can do @ sign, and then any of the members of that team will be immediately notified. So that's a great way to make sure that you're getting in touch with the person that you intend while also keeping your conversations available to your colleagues. Chat is more like an instant messenger. It is something that will only be sent to the people that you select, and it's something that never goes away, but it is something that's private. So I would recommend you use chats for things that are less work related or have confidential information, things that you don't need anyone else to see. It gets very confusing when you start having conversations that are work related in chat because you're not sure where files are saved. If you're in a channel with a group of your coworkers and you're in a chat with a group of your coworkers, you can very easily get confused as to where one conversation happened or where that file was sent or when did we collaborate on that. By keeping as much as we can in the channels, it keeps things organized and easy to find. So I can't stress enough that it may feel a little awkward at first, but put as much as you possibly can in those channels and try to avoid using chat for things that are work related. Now, on that note, you can make private channels. A private channel, you create the same way that you would an ordinary channel, but where it says standard, you can select private. And this will allow you to choose specific members of your group to be able to see and access this channel. This is a great way to have conversations with campus leadership that you don't want your whole campus to see, or to put a teacher on a growth plan and keep everything in one central place. Those kinds of things. Maybe you have a budget team or a SPED team where things that they need to be discussed and organized but don't necessarily need to be seen by every member of your team. It's a really great way to do that. The next thing I want to show you is our calendar. So your calendar syncs with Outlook if your Outlook is logged into your UT Charter account. Lori has sent out some great instructions on how to make sure both accounts are in your Outlook. So I recommend you do that if you haven't already. But if you have done it, then your team's calendar will sync with your Outlook calendar, which is really convenient. Up at the top of your calendar, you have two options. One says Meet Now and one says New Meeting. The Meet Now just puts you in a meeting. You can just start a video conference right there and add people individually. The New Meeting pulls up a page similar to what you would see in Outlook, where you can schedule a meeting. Now, I'm not going to go through the pieces of scheduling a meeting because that's a different video, but that's where this is located. You can also click into any of your meetings to see details, to change details, to add people, those kinds of things. So your calendar is a really helpful place. Microsoft says that they're rolling out more features to make it more like Outlook, where you can color code, you can see a month at a time, those additional features. Right now, it's fairly limited. Everything is purple. You can only see 1 week at a time. A little bit of limitation there. The next thing on our ribbon is calls. If you click the calls, this is where you can just quickly make a call if you need to get in touch or have a quick video conference with someone. If I hit make a call, I can add as many people as I need to here, and then I can audio call or video call. And it'll just give them a call, they can answer me, and we can have a quick video conference right here. So that's a neat feature as well. You can set up a voicemail. I don't know that it's necessary. I guess it depends on your role. But if you feel like that's something that you need, you can definitely get one set up. The last section is the Files section, and it is home to every file you have access to in Microsoft Teams, which can be really overwhelming. But you've got your Recent tab, which is files you've recently accessed. You've got Microsoft Teams, which shows you every file in every team that you are a member of. You have your downloads, which are things that you've downloaded recently from Teams. You can also add cloud storage. So by default, OneDrive is connected, but you can also add Google Drive. So I tell teachers that I really recommend using your cloud storage, either OneDrive or Google Drive, as a replacement for TeacherShare. Things that you have previously stored in TeacherShare, I recommend putting in OneDrive or Google Drive. They'll be accessible on any device. You can share them easily in Teams or in Google, and it just helps keep things accessible, even if you can't get somewhere with our network or your VPN is not cooperating. You can have all of that stored here. That is a quick rundown of some of the most commonly used features in Microsoft Teams. Hopefully it is helpful to give you an idea of kind of where things are and what they're called. Keep reading for more videos and more articles about specific features and how to do specific things. And I hope you enjoy Microsoft Teams.